What if everything you've been told about morality, loyalty, and trust is nothing but a carefully crafted illusion? What if behind every smiling face, every promise of friendship, every noble speech, there lies another reality, one you were never meant to see? You live in a world that tells you kindness wins, honesty pays, and truth will always prevail. But Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who dared to peel away the mask of humanity, whispered something far more unsettling. He warned that power is rarely held by the most virtuous. It is held by the most cunning. And here's the secret. You are not supposed to know this, because if you do, the world changes forever. You will no longer see leaders as noble protectors, nor relationships as sacred bonds. You will begin to notice the strings, how people pull them, how they disguise them, and how they try to pull yours. This is not bedtime philosophy. This is a mirror into the darker machinery of the human mind. And once you look into it, you cannot unsee it. Stay with me, because over the next moments, we will walk together through shadows most people refuse to enter. You will learn why Machiavelli's words were not just advice for princes and kings, but a survival manual for anyone living among other human beings. Ask yourself, why has this book, The Prince, been studied by rulers, generals, and business tycoons for over 500 years, and yet never recommended to the average man? Why do professors dismiss Machiavelli as cynical, while the powerful quote him in private? Because the truth, once revealed, would give you an advantage they don't want you to have. And so we begin. Segment 2, The Mask of Humanity. Machiavelli begins with an observation as cold as steel. People are not what they pretend to be. Human beings wear masks not out of malice alone, but out of necessity. Modern psychology confirms this. Carl Jung called it the persona, the social mask you put on to survive in society. Neuroscience tells us the brain evolved not for truth, but for survival. The stories you tell, the roles you play, the smiles you force, they are all adaptations in the game of human interaction. But here's the catch. While most people wear their masks unconsciously, the Machiavellian mind knows it is a mask. And if you know, you can use it. Think of the workplace. A colleague congratulates you on your success while secretly resenting you. Or in politics, where speeches about serving the people are cloaked strategies for consolidating control. On the surface, kindness. Beneath, calculation. Machiavelli warned rulers never to rely on appearances. He insisted that a wise leader must see through the mask, not fall victim to it. Because if you mistake the mask of the man, you will be manipulated. Modern psychology has a name for this too, the halo effect. It's the bias that makes you assume someone who looks trustworthy or speaks eloquently must actually be good. You see the polished mask, and you surrender before the reality. But Machiavelli's warning is sharper. Do not be fooled. For behind the most virtuous mask may stand the most dangerous ambition. And the reverse is also true. The leader who seems ruthless may, in truth, be the only one protecting stability. Appearance deceives both ways. Ask yourself, how often have you judged someone by their surface? How often have you fallen for words instead of actions? How often have you let the mask blind you to the reality of human behavior? Here lies the first forbidden truth. People are actors, and the world is a stage of survival. And if you do not understand this, you are not a player. You are the played. But here is where the shadow deepens. Because once you see through masks, you face a choice. Do you expose the truth, or do you learn to wear your own mask more skillfully? This is where Machiavelli breaks the illusion most people cling to. He tells us, do not waste your life waiting for honesty in a dishonest world. Instead, learn how masks work, because those who master them rule. Segment 3, Why Morality is a Weapon. From the moment you were a child, you were told that morality is universal, that good deeds are rewarded, that honesty brings respect, that virtue is its own prize. But Machiavelli looked at the stage of history and saw something different. He saw Caesar betrayed, Socrates condemned, countless rulers overthrown, not because they were evil, but because they were naive. Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous, he wrote. Not sometimes, not rarely, always when it suits their survival. Here lies a truth modern psychology confirms. People bend morality to fit their self-interest. Behavioral economists call it moral licensing. When someone does a small good deed, they feel justified to act selfishly later. Neuroscience shows the brain rewards self-preservation far more consistently than it rewards altruism. So morality? It is not a law written in stone. It is a flexible weapon, and the clever know how to use it. Think of the politician who preaches family values while betraying their own. Think of the religious leader who urges sacrifice while living in luxury. They understand Machiavelli's warning. Morality is not a universal rule. It is a mask, one that disarms those who believe in it too absolutely. Here is the brutal reality. The more and more you try to appear, the more others will expect from you, and the more easily you can be destroyed when you fail to meet their impossible standard. Machiavelli's lesson? Appear virtuous. Act as necessity demands. This is not hypocrisy. It is survival. For if you expose too much truth, people will not reward your honesty. They will fear it. They will punish it. They will crush it. And so, morality becomes a stage weapon. You hold it in your hand, not because it is real, but because others believe it is. And if you know this, if you understand the psychology beneath it, you no longer live blind. But here's a dangerous hook. If you see morality as a weapon, do you still play by its rules? Or do you begin to forge your own? Segment 4, the game of power. Machiavelli insisted on something most thinkers dare not say. Life is not a quest for truth. It is a struggle for power. The word itself frightens people. Power. We pretend it belongs only to kings, presidents, and generals. But the truth is simpler. Wherever two human beings interact, a game of power begins. Modern psychology proves it. Social dominance hierarchies are found not only in humans, but in animals as well. From the wolf pack to the boardroom, there is always a leader, always a challenger, always a dance for status. Neuroscience shows the hormone dopamine spikes not only with pleasure, but with status gain. To rise above others, even slightly, floods a brain with reward. Plato warned of this too, in his allegory of the ship. He describes society as a vessel where those who understand the currents of power steer, while the ignorant passengers fight among themselves. Machiavelli's genius was to strip away the illusions. He told leaders, do not seek to be loved, seek to be feared, because fear is controllable. Love is not. But here's the paradox. He did not mean cruelty for its own sake. He meant that people's affections are fleeting, but their fear of consequences lasts. And modern behavioral science agrees. Humans are loss-averse. We fear losing safety, losing approval, losing life itself, more than we desire gaining them. This is why threats hold more power than promises. This is why leaders who punish betrayal swiftly last longer than those who forgive endlessly. Yet here is the trap. Most people recoil from this truth. They cling to the illusion that kindness rules the world. But deep down, they know otherwise. Think about your own life. When someone disrespected you, did kindness protect you? Or did you learn that only firm boundaries stop the abuse? The game of power is not a choice. You are already in it. Every relationship, every friendship, every workplace interaction is a silent test of who influences whom. And if you ignore this, you lose. If you deny this, you are played. Machiavelli whispers a forbidden truth. Power is the current beneath all human affairs. You cannot step outside it. You can only learn to navigate it, or drown. So ask yourself now, how many times have you pretended not to see the game? How many times have you given power away, hoping virtue alone would shield you? The answer may disturb you, but disturbance is the beginning of awakening. Segment 5, Fear versus Love, the Cruel Paradox. What drives human obedience, fear or love? If you ask most people, they'd say love. Love binds families. Love inspires loyalty. Love creates unity. But Machiavelli disagreed. He looked at the cold record of history and declared a truth so dark that even now, people refuse to accept it. It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose. Why? Because love is fragile. It depends on emotions, and emotions change with the seasons. One disappointment, one betrayal, one shift in fortune, and love can turn into hatred. But fear is consistent. Fear is reliable. Fear makes men obey, even when their hearts rage against you. Modern psychology backs this with brutal clarity. Studies on loss aversion show that people fear losing what they have twice as much as they value gaining something new. Neuroscience reveals that fear activates the amygdala instantly, far faster than love or trust can form in the brain. Fear commands attention. Fear controls behavior. Think about your own life. When did you act more carefully? When you were in love or when you were afraid of punishment? Which boss made you work harder? The one who was friendly or the one whose disapproval terrified you? The paradox is this. The ideal ruler should be both loved and feared. But life rarely allows both. And when forced to choose, Machiavelli's answer was clear. Now here's the twist most people miss. He did not say cruelty should be endless. He said cruelty must be swift, controlled, and purposeful. Too much fear breeds rebellion. Too much love breeds weakness. The art is in balance. The knife sharp enough to cut, but hidden until necessary. Psychology calls this the authoritative paradox. Leaders who are too permissive are disrespected. Leaders who are too harsh are overthrown. But leaders who punish betrayal decisively while maintaining outward fairness, they endure. Here's the question Machiavelli forces upon you. When it comes to your own life, do people respect you because they love you or because they fear disappointing you? And which one truly keeps your world intact? Segment 6, Loyalty and Betrayal, the Fragile Illusion. If fear is reliable, loyalty is the opposite. Loyalty is a word that warms the heart. Soldiers swear it, lovers promise it, friends claim it. But Machiavelli stripped the veil from this illusion. He said plainly, loyalty is an illusion that lasts only until the winds of fortune shift. Think of history. Brutus swore loyalty to Caesar, then plunged a dagger into his chest. Advisors swore loyalty to kings, until a rival offered them more power. Lovers swear eternal devotion, until someone more exciting, more promising, more convenient appears. Psychology again agrees. Humans are wired for reciprocity. We give as long as we receive. Loyalty is transactional, not eternal. And once the balance shifts, once loyalty costs more than it rewards, it collapses. This is not cynicism. This is survival instinct. People serve themselves first, even when they convince themselves they are serving you. Modern research into organizational psychology shows the same. Employees report loyalty to companies only as long as they feel respected, rewarded, or secure. The moment these vanish, loyalty evaporates. And yet, most people live under the dangerous illusion that loyalty is unconditional. They place blind trust in friends, in colleagues, and lovers, and are shocked when betrayal arrives. But to Machiavelli, betrayal is not the exception. It is the rule. So what was his advice? Never rely on loyalty. Test it. Control it. Replace it with interests that bind people to you. Keep others dependent on your fortune, your favor, your presence. Because when people cannot survive without you, they remain loyal. But it is not love that holds them, it is necessity. There is a chilling truth in this. True loyalty exists, yes, but it is rare. And those who expect it universally set themselves up for ruin. Here's the haunting question to leave you with. Who around you is truly loyal to you, and who is simply waiting for a better offer? If you dare to answer honestly, you may discover you are surrounded by more masks than faces. Segment 7, the dark psychology of survival. What does survival really demand? If you strip away morality, strip away ideals, strip away illusions, what remains? For Machiavelli, it was this. Survival belongs not to good, but to the adaptable. Nature itself proves it. The lion survives not because it is moral, but because it is ruthless. The fox survives not because it is noble, but because it is cunning. And humans survive not because of love, but because of their ability to manipulate, deceive, and outlast. Machiavelli urged rulers to be both lion and fox, strong enough to crush threats, clever enough to avoid traps. And psychology tells us why. Consider the fight or flight response. When danger arises, your brain bypasses reason and reacts with instinct. But Machiavelli knew something subtler. Humans also possess a third survival strategy, deception. Animals camouflage, humans lie. Cognitive psychology calls this impression management, the subconscious art of shaping how others see us to protect ourselves. We downplay flaws, exaggerate strengths, and mask intentions. It's survival through perception. Ask yourself, how many times have you pretended to agree just to avoid conflict? How often have you hidden your true thoughts to protect your position? That was not morality. That was survival. And here's where the hook digs deeper. Those who refuse to play this game, who cling to honesty at all costs, often fall first. The brutal truth is that society rewards masks more than naked faces. Nietzsche echoed this when he wrote, "Every profound spirit needs a mask. Survival demands it." Machiavelli didn't just expose this truth. He demanded that rulers master it. Because in the struggle for survival, truth is not always power. Sometimes illusion is. So the question is, in your own life, are you living as the lion, the fox, or the prey? Segment 8, Leaders and Tyrants, the Eternal Pattern. Every age has its leaders. Every era has its tyrants. And those centuries separate them. Their patterns are eerily the same. Machiavelli saw it in his time. Rulers rising, falling, seizing power, losing it, always to the same laws of human nature. He knew that power is never secure by kindness alone. It is secure by strategy, deception, and decisive action. History proves him right. Julius Caesar rose to power with charm and charisma, but he secured it with the sword. Napoleon inspired loyalty with vision, but maintained it with fear and ruthless efficiency. Modern leaders, whether in politics or corporations, use the same blend. Hope on the surface, fear underneath. Psychology calls this the dominance prestige model. Leaders gain influence in two ways, through dominance fear or prestige admiration. But the most successful combine both. Machiavelli was centuries ahead of this research. He warned that prestige alone is fragile. Admiration fades, but dominance, calculated, controlled dominance, cements authority. This is why tyrants often endure longer than beloved leaders. Fear paralyzes rebellion more effectively than love inspires loyalty. And though history condemns them, Machiavelli would say their survival proves the rule. But here lies the disturbing part. This pattern does not exist only in thrones and palaces. It exists in offices, in relationships, in communities. Wherever humans gather, someone takes power. And they do so not by accident, but by instinct, using the same strategies Machiavelli described. So ask yourself, in the small kingdoms of your own life, your job, your friendships, your relationships, who truly hold the throne? And are they ruling you with love or with fear you dare not admit? The danger is not that these patterns exist. The danger is that most people never see them. They believe their leaders are benevolent, their relationships built on pure trust, their world free of manipulation. But Machiavelli whispers, look again. The mask of virtue hides a crown of iron. And the moment you finally see it, the world is never the same. Segment 9, Everyday Machiavelli, the silent game you're already playing. Most people believe Machiavelli's lessons belong to kings, politicians, and ruthless tyrants. But look closer, and you'll see his warnings living quietly in your everyday life. At work, who gets promoted? Is it the one who works hardest, or the one who knows how to be seen, how to flatter, how to appear indispensable? Among friends, who leads a group? Is it the one who is most generous, or the one who subtly makes others dependent on their approval? In love, who holds power? The one who loves more, or the one who could walk away first? You see, Machiavelli's principles are not confined to palaces. They are coded into the psychology of human behavior. Modern research on social dominance theory shows that hierarchies naturally emerge in every group. People instinctively sort themselves into leaders and followers, often without realizing it. But here's the catch. The rules that decide these hierarchies are not fairness, not morality, but perception, fear, and advantage. That colleague who always seems agreeable, they may be hiding a fox's cunning. That friend who acts humble, they may be securing loyalty through subtle manipulation. That charming partner, they may be testing whether your love outweighs your fear of losing them. This is not paranoia. It is pattern recognition. Machiavelli's genius was not creating these rules. It was exposing them. He forced us to admit what we already know deep down. Beneath the mask of civility, every human interaction contains an element of power. And if you fail to see this, you do not escape the game. You simply lose it. So here's the haunting hook. In your own life, are you the player or are you the piece? Segment 10, the final warning, once seen, never unseen. Now we arrive at the truth you were never supposed to know. Machiavelli's warning was not for the weak-hearted. He did not write for masses, but for those willing to stare into the darker face of human nature. And what he revealed is this: morality is often theater. Loyalty is often conditional. Love is often fragile. Power decides more than virtue ever will. Modern psychology only confirms his insight. We are creatures of bias, driven by fear, wired for survival, endlessly constructing illusions to hide these instincts from ourselves. But once you see it, once you understand how masks, manipulation, and power quietly rule the world, you cannot return to innocence. You will notice it everywhere. In politics, in your workplace, in your closest relationships. You will see the fox's trick in a friend's words, the lion's shadow in a leader's decision, the illusion of loyalty behind a smile. And that is Machiavelli's final warning. Knowledge of human nature is both weapon and burden. It gives you power, but it also strips away comfort. The curtain is pulled back. The play is exposed. Perhaps that is why so many dismiss him as cynical. It is easier to believe in love, loyalty, and virtue as absolutes. It is easier to cling to illusions than to face the raw mechanics of human behavior. But if you have listened this far, you are no longer among the innocent. You have stepped into the hidden chamber of truth. And now you must choose. Will you deny it, retreating back into comforting illusions? Or will you carry this knowledge, wield it carefully, and see the world as it truly is, masks, daggers, crowns, and all? Because once you see through the illusion, the game of life changes forever, and you will never unsee it.